Good morning,
Veronica.
We're doing well.
Great,
Happy New Month.
Great. All right, we can now continue the conversation.
All right. The next half hour of TVC Breakfast is reaching you live from our Abuja studio. Now, thanks everyone for staying with us. Now, the Edo State Governor, Monday Okpebholo, has paid a condolence visit to his counterpart in Kano State, Abba Yusuf, over the killing of 16 Kano-bound travelers last Friday. Governor Okpebholo arrived at the Kano State Government House at noon on Monday and was received by Governor Yusuf and other government officials. The visit is one of the many steps already initiated by the Edo State government to douse tension and build on existing peace and harmony between Edo people and their counterparts, our brothers and sisters across Nigeria. Not just that, the Edo State government also announced the suspension of all illegal vigilante groups, including the commander of Edo State Security Corps.
In a move to further guarantee justice for the victims, the state government assures that investigations are ongoing and 14 persons have been arrested in connection to the gruesome murder in an Uromi community. Manhunt for others who took the laws into their hands is being intensified by a special team drafted by the Inspector General of Police. During the visit, Governor Abba Yusuf maintained that Kano State remains the most peaceful state in the north that accommodates people from diverse communities. Governor Yusuf appreciates his counterparts for the prompt visit and calls for immediate prosecution of those arrested for justice to be served. Both governors later called for peaceful coexistence as they visit Turunkawa village in the Bunkure local government area of Kano State. For more on this development and the need to avoid jungle justice in Nigeria, we have two gentlemen on the program today. Joining us via Zoom is the Managing Director of Beacon Security and Intelligence Limited, Kabir Adamu. It's good to have you on the program, Mr. Adamu. Well, while in the studio here, we have joining us the Secretary to the Edo State Government, Musa Ikhilor. Thank you for joining us on the TVC Breakfast Show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
good morning, Nigerians.
Having you.
Thank you.
Well, it's really a sad development in Edo State, and this paints a picture of the actual security situation in the state with concerns about, the increased attacks on farmers and also kidnapping. Some people say that it appears that government does not, has not done much to guarantee the safety of lives and property. Is that the actual situation?
Well, that is not the situation just now. We are barely 4 months in government, but we have made very tremendous stride as a government to address the security situation we inherited from the past administration. Things were very bad before we came. We had these illegal vigilantes operating. Before we came, just before the elections, they were suspended by the Inspector General of Police after they shot at a police officer at the airport and killed a policeman. This same vigilante, incidentally, we just discovered that the vigilantes that were operating in Uromi the day this happened are also from the crop of that vigilante during the last administration. That we suspended, we began profiling and registering them so that we subject them to training under the Edo State Security Corps governance law. But it is very curious that for hundreds of years there has been, Uromi has been a gateway between the south and the north, and we have never had an incident like this. So for it to happen now is really just curious, and that's something every a very intelligent security expert should ask. Talking about the state of insecurity, the government has been very proactive. The executive governor, purchased over 75 brand new Hiluxes for security agencies, distributed it to all of them. Before he came, he inherited rickety Siennas. That's what security agencies were using. Then he also purchased power motorcycles to chase bandits out of the forest, and we're making tremendous progress. In Uromi, just a month ago, a traditional ruler was kidnapped, and within 48 hours, with the swift response of the security team put in by the governor, they were able to rescue the traditional ruler. And we were beginning to really push the bad guys out of the way. So, but we have a lot of distorted information out there, which is quite unfortunate because people sometimes play on this. For example, I have seen a video that even major TV stations were sharing of women protesting in Uromi about kidnappings and rape and all that. Now that video is suddenly being shared by the opposition in the state now that this is the state of Uromi. But if you were just to Google, the video is from 2021, right? It was from 2021 in the Obaseki administration where women went to the palace, government house to protest of too much kidnapping. So it's curious that that video is now being circulated just now when we had this carnage that everybody is supposed to unite on and condemn. But we know what the game is. You want to incite people and, ratchet up the tempo of the situation. But the governor, in his wisdom, has decided to choose the path of de-escalation. All right, and that's what we have done with our Kano visit.
Okay, talking about de-escalation, you just came back from the Kano visit with His Excellency the Governor. Now, talk to us. What are the basic achievements? Because we know the tension is high over there. Has been threat of reprisal attacks. So, what have you been able to achieve visiting Kano State?
In fact, it is unprecedented, unimaginable, the cataclysmic catastrophe that the governor averted by that visit. A lot of people will not understand. But if you are a true Nigerian and if you are a student of history and you have followed the dynamics of ethnic crisis in Nigeria, then you would appreciate, every right-thinking person will appreciate what the governor has done. Because even when we were in Kano, we had a meeting not just with the government and the people of Bunkure, the meeting with all tribal minorities in Kano, the Igbo communities, the Eze Ndigbo, the Yoruba, the different tribes, they were there appreciating what the Edo governor did. He said, you did not just come to pay condolence, you also saved our people here in Kano. And then the Edo indigenes in Kano, who are in millions. You know, this migration thing is a fact of life. It has been there from beginning of history. Abraham was a migrant. Everybody has migrated. Moses migrated. So we have people from different parts of Nigeria living in other parts of Nigeria. So what the governor did was to immediately halt something that would have really been disastrous, because people were really just instigating that drum of war to see that there's a reprisal or whatever. But the governor has taken a path for de-escalation, and what he did is very commendable. It shows his leadership quality by being very proactive and has that emotional intelligence to read the situation very fast and acted very fast. You know, went to Kano State, did not just visit the government, went to the village after 2.5 hours of road trip, to the very village where those 16 victims came from. You know, condole with the family and promise that justice will be done, reassured them, and also reassured that he will compensate the family who were innocently and gruesomely killed. And that has really de-escalated tension, and everyone is happy, and the reports are very positive. And every well-meaning Nigerian or leader in this country today is appreciating the executive governor for what he did.
Well, from reports available to the government, was this possibly a targeted attack or a revenge killings for previous atrocities committed by other criminal groups?
Well, I think that is something that the security agencies will have to unravel. There's actually suspicion that this may have been orchestrated for different reasons, because it's really strange. Like I say, if something has not happened for 100 years, and it happens for the first time, then there is a problem. You have to ask questions. What really went wrong? You know, it is not an excuse that, oh, because of the insecurity in Uromi. No, the government was actually addressing that insecurity. The reports are there. let us not be deceived by what, certain non-state actors and enemies of states are trying to do using the social media propaganda, like I just mentioned, spreading old videos and making it look like it's happening now. That is not the case. So the DSS is asking questions. That is why we suspended the commander of the Edo Security, Corps, because the governor is very proactive and he doesn't want to leave any sacred cows on this matter. So that is what is happening.
Now, you do have huge security challenge on your hands in Edo State, and I hope that the governor understands this, because you have, apart from the issue of this unregistered vigilante you talked about that you inherited, you also have a lot of court activities that's giving the state a lot of headache now. What exactly are you doing? Because today it's the vigilante, another day it might be the court people unleashing mayhem on innocent Edo State people and residents. What are you putting in place to help solve this?
When we inaugurated, the very first week of inauguration, we had several court killings in Benin City. That is the state we met. In fact, we had a case where somebody who attended the inauguration had a flat tire, went to a popular place in Benin, James Ward, to change it. While he was standing, somebody was shot dead beside him. Court-related killing. But the governor acted very swiftly, called the different community leaders, the stakeholders, and even had an interaction with, youths who have access to some of these bad guys, and gave a clear warning, and then made the example of one or two, and then suddenly it all died down. And in December, we found unprecedented peace in Benin City. No court crisis for the first time ever. Even people testified to that. And then the governor enacted a new law, anti-cultism law, where there were stricter penalties for cultists and even the sponsors of cultists. 21 years imprisonment, you have your properties confiscated, demolished, and he has been executing that. Even the anti-kidnapping law that he also enacted, and he's implementing it. So it is not just rhetoric or political showmanship. It is action and practical governance that the governor is doing. And these results are there. The facts are there for anybody to see. We have been very proactive in stemming the tide of cultism, and then we are doing a lot even with the anti-kidnapping. We had an anti-kidnapping law where anyone caught harboring, sponsoring, or collaborating with bandits is going to face the full wrath of the law. We have their properties demolished, will be prosecuted, and that is already happening. So this is the state. This is what we are focused on doing. But of course, we understand that it's a tense political season. There are persons who think because there is a case in court, they need to create an atmosphere of tension and insecurity to influence public policy and stuff like that. But we are not distracted by that. We are very focused on what we are doing, and we are ignoring all sorts of propaganda.
It was still going to stay with the issue unraveling in Uromi, but that will be right after this short break.